Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I fit guitar tones in the mix. So while I've shown how I create tones, I haven't really shown how I get them to fit in the mix a lot better or kind of have them be pushed by the bass too much. So hopefully this video will help, kind of clear up some confusion around that topic. This track, again, is sent in from Quazaron. I still don't know how to say it, I'm so sorry. And if you would like me to look at your tracks, give my opinion, or, run it through a quick mix and see what I would do differently or what I would suggest, you can always DM me on Instagram. It's linked all over my profile, description, and everything. I don't charge. I'm not like that yet. Anyway, without wasting any more time, let's just go into the DAW. And this is pretty much ran through my drum mix and bass mix, and they're basically my defaults at this point, at least as a starting point. And I already had a video going over how I mixed the bass and the drums. I can link the videos somewhere on the screen or in the description. That being said, let's start with the guitar, or the main guitar. So I'll go ahead and loop this part here because that's what I'll focus on first. This track has the rhythm guitar, ambient, spacey kind of lead, and just a chuggy part that was recorded separately. So I will just go ahead and start by listening to the DI, see if there's any issues that I'm personally hearing, or if there's anything that I would like to address before adding the amps in. So just a quick listen. So I'm hearing that, I mean, it's natural for this to happen, but the higher kind of like shreddy parts or like the tapping, I don't know what it is. It does sound like they're a bit too quiet in the initial recording. So one thing I'll try to do is use flatline. You can use any clipper really. However, this is just to bring up the volume as well as hopefully level some of it out. So let's just pull it back a bit, see how it sounds. So it is getting quite a bit hot. So I'll just turn it down a little as well. That's just an experimental thing for me. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that on. Another thing I'll do is throw on JST's DI match and I'll just kind of compare. My go-to is Buster Odholm because he's one of my favorite producers. If you couldn't tell, I'm wearing a Humanity's Last Breath shirt. Anyway, I'll just do a level match and I will just leave the spectral matching as it is. See how that goes. So it did kind of EQ the DI a little bit. It's pretty subtle though. I can try throwing on flatline 2 again, see if it helped. So yeah, that's sounding alright, but I do want to add some extra EQ to the DI just to clean it up a bit more. So I want to cut out some muddiness from the DI so it's not hitting the amp too much, and then we'll go from there. So let's just do that real quick. That was some hunkiness. All right, and just a quick little reduction there. I'm still hearing some hunk somewhere. Let me find that. There we go. And I do want some brightness, so I will put on a high shelf. Right, so that's sounding pretty good to me. And now I will throw on let's just go with a random one just to see how it goes. I'll do nameless for nameless and work from there. I did make a preset that I really like, Labyrinthian I called it. It's based on the Metal 8 preset. Just some minor adjustments and mostly just messing with the amount added here on the grind pedal and some of the gain here, but nothing too crazy. Let's hear how that sounds. And the reason I treated the DI is once this is off right now, so I will go ahead and turn them all on in order just to so you can kind of get a better idea of what's happening. That one's super subtle. So as you can see now, the levels of the DI recording are a lot more contained, so the really loud parts of the lower register notes aren't overpowering and weakening the feel of the higher notes. So I am happy with that. Next, I will throw on another EQ just to clean up the amp's sound, and I will put on a high pass just to start, get rid of the fizz. Hearing some honkiness somewhere again, so I'll find that. All right, and from here, the last thing I'll add before listening to it in context is just add a multiband. All right, so I don't like to tinker with the tone too much before I hear what it sounds like with both the bass and the guitar, or sorry, the bass and the drums. So I will pull those in now and just hear how that sounds. So immediately the amp is way quiet, so I'll turn that up. And I don't know if this is going to come across on OBS, but one thing I do to help balance is turn it down quite a bit, and it'll give me a better idea of what it sounds like around different volumes, so I know if I should turn something up or down. Looking at OBS, it looks like there was no change in volume, so that probably was super useless. But that is helpful. All right, but I am liking how that is so far, but I will go back to the EQ and just kind of mess with the EQ and see how I can get this to feel better with the mix. So let's do that. So there I just heard this little bit of honkiness. There's some harshness poking through over here, so I will find that. Right there. Cut it just a bit. I'm not hearing too much more I want to cut out, just maybe some of the muddiness over here. I'm I'm not hearing too much at the moment that I want to take out, so I will start adding. So let's do that. Not really a frequency I would like to boost specifically, so I will just try a high shelf, maybe brighten a little, just a test. All right, and I'm noticing that the shreddy parts are still not coming through as much as I would like. So what I will do is just throw on a compressor. I'll just do my favorite one. Virtual Mix Rack has the distressor, and that is my all-time favorite compressor. And just lower the ratio and just real random settings. So that is coming through a lot better, but now I'm noticing since I did compress it, there is a volume difference. So I will just bypass and re-engage it just to see where it was sitting before and try and get it as close as I can. That's good for me. And I do like to saturate my guitars. I will go ahead and use JST Heat. I've been really loving this plugin lately. Just a pretty simple to use, just one knob pretty much most of the time. I don't even really touch the different presets or other modes too much. So adding saturation, I'll just move up the knob quite a bit. If it's too much, I'll back it down and just kind of find that sweet spot. And again, just adjusted the output volume to match where it was before. It's close enough. I'm not sure I'm liking the saturation, however. So I will go ahead and try virtual tape machines, also from Slate Digital. And I typically keep the default settings. I'm not liking that too much, so I think I'm just not going to use any saturation right now. It could be that some IRs from different manufacturers do have some saturation built in, so adding more can affect that negatively. So just to stay safe, and I am liking how it's sounding without it, so I'm just going to leave it without. But that is something that you can do to add more like texture or grit. Sometimes it does sometimes even eliminate some of the harsh frequencies when you add saturation, so it can be beneficial in that regard. Just be careful to not overdo it with the gain on the amp, because when you add saturation, you're adding more harmonics, which means more high end, so it can kind of get out of hand really fast, so just be careful with that. That being said, I'm thinking that this tone is all right for now. We've all heard that many times at this point, so I will go ahead and loop this section with this guitar here, the little drone guitar, and I'll play it with the mix. And since I do like the Mixwave Spirit Box plugin a lot more for ambience and clean tones, I'm just going to try and get a spacey tone with it. Alright, so I tried for a very long time to make my own tone here, but I'm very bad at making tones with this plugin for some reason. So I did find the Andrew Baina ambient lead preset, and I think I can work with that quite a bit. So I don't want the shimmer effect there. Personally, I don't like shimmer in reverb, so I will just change that to either hall or room. Hear how it sounds. Alright, so that sounds okay. Well, not really, but once I EQ it, it'll be fine. I promise. So cut out a lot of that low end because I don't want that low end to be built up or overbearing in the chuggy part or in something that's already covered in gain. So let's just hear how it sounds. Just kind of try to fit that in, see if we can. So I did turn off the chorus because I think it was adding just too much to this part. So in context, I'm hearing there's a lot of somewhere over here building up that I don't like, so let's find that. Maybe it is that frequency there. So I think this is sounding pretty sick so far. Since these guitars are gonna basically be the same as the rhythm tone, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy the rhythm tone over to this track, basically entirely, and just see how it sounds. So weirdly enough, I wouldn't want to turn down the guitars, but I really love how this bass sounds. So I kind of want to push that kind of with the guitar, maybe somewhat to support it, rather than to have the bass support the guitar in a way. I feel like that would add a bit more energy to the part, especially for what would come after. It would kind of help the guitar explode out into the next part since they are being kind of ducked away. Since this is basically a build up into the next part, rather than relying on some sort of production, like post-production element to push that forward, it can also benefit to have some adjustments like this to naturally push it forward without having to add too much after you've already finished the song. So let's just hear how that would sound. Yeah, so in my head, that's what I'm hearing at least. I'm gonna turn this down quite a bit and just kind of find where I want it. Yeah, I actually do like that idea. You hear more of the bass there and kind of gives it like that kind of like I don't know what you'd call it. It's like the part of the song where when you watch it live, like people are starting to like do the mosh or whatever. Do the mosh, what the but like if there was a breakdown after this and those guitars exploded out into this same volume over here, along with some post production to support that rather than to rely on it to make it explode. In my opinion, that would make this song 10 times better just for that. However, now that I think I have it where I want it, let's just give it a full listen through. So yeah, there is still some volume automations that I could do to make this really feel more in one, but that's another video for another day. So next I do plan on adding some post-production to this song and see how I can elevate it even further, just to kind of show my process and how I handle that kind of thing and what I think about when I'm trying to add something to a song that I feel like maybe could use a little more of something, like whether that be impacts, sub drops, orchestra, choir, you know, I can't think, but you get the point. But yeah, that will be my video today. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. I always respond to comments. Once again, if you do want to send in your tracks for me to look at or to mix or to kind of show off in some way, you can send them over to me on Instagram or just get in touch with me in any way that you are comfortable. I'm on Facebook, unfortunately, now. Everything will be linked in the description if you want to send anything in. So that'll do it. If you want to listen to my own personal project, Lore Weaver, you can find a card to scan here. Link in the description if I remember. And over here, you can find some band I think is cool. And that's it for me. Bye.